the record and okay, sorry.
Yes, I got it. Good morning.
We're ready to go.
Good morning all. Welcome into our WOO session, Facebook listeners. I'm inviting you to pick up, go in quickly and get your any piece of ankara that you have around your house or katinge. So if you know what I'm talking about, go get it. Thank you. And good morning. Welcome, family. Welcome, family. Welcome in. Today, we're going to be talking about the fabrics of our lives. Thank you. Welcome in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And thank you for joining us on WOO this morning.
Peace and blessings.
Good morning, sister. Good morning.
Can you repeat the names of the fabrics?
Absolutely. I'd like you to get your favorite piece of ankara or katinge. And if you know what I'm talking about, you'll have it when we go live. Good morning. Welcome in, family.
It's time to get up. Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. It's time to get up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. It's time to get up. We're healing, we're dealing, we're growing. Together, together, releasing. We're teaching, we're moving. Together, together, we're learning, discerning, we're striving. Together, together, we're leading, connecting, transforming. Together, together.
Good morning, all, and welcome to this session, number 701, I believe. And we are going to be talking about the fabrics of our lives. And so our everyday existence involves putting on some type of cloth. And I asked early on that if you have a piece of ankara or an ankara outfit, can you please go live and just hold it up so that you, and if you don't know what it is, please raise your hand and I'll explain it. So welcome in, and I'm going to get ready to talk about fabric because I'm a self-professed fabric-holic. I have so much fabric that I don't know sometimes where to put it. It's overwhelming. I just love fabric. So I see that there's one sister that has brought a piece of ankara. So she knows Sister Abimbola. So what is Ankara? What is Ankara, Sister Abimbola?
Well, I'm just do a education guess.
Yes.
It's a African fabric that have been printed, fabric that's, yeah, from Africa that have a print or design.
That's right. It's just African fabric, Ankara fabric, and that is what is called in the west part of Africa. It's called Ankara. And on the East Coast, it's called Kitinji. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but that's what it's called. So when you hear people say Ankara, it's actually the fabric that has printed fabric. And it's worn, right now it's being worn throughout the entire world. People of the diaspora, especially people of color, wear it. But we're seeing that all types of people are now wearing African print fabric. And that's what Ankara is. It's African print fabric. Does anyone else have any questions before I move forward? Because there's quite a lot that I want to share about our fabric and the origins of Ankara fabric. And Sister Abimbola, I'll come back to you if you could sit. And when you think about the origin of African fabric, do you think that that African fabric is made and produced in Africa? And if anybody else wants to raise their hands, please do.
Well, I know that African fabric is produced many places, not necessarily just in Africa, and it's imported.
Yes.
And it's imitated.
Yes. Yes.
And I know, you could tell which is wax and which was original because it has one side and all of that. So, yes.
That's right. That's right. Okay, so I'm going to begin to talk about our fabric and the hidden messages that we often find in the African fabric. Now, behind me, I particularly put up this particular quilt of mine because it has a symbol. And the symbol is the Jiname symbol. And it's all through the piece. And so not only are you going to see, as I proceed through the slides, you're going to see different colors and textures, but you're also going to see lots of African symbols. And it's so important that we begin to understand that when we wear a symbol, we're speaking about what we're wearing. And so the Jiname means but God. And so I really love it. I wear it all the time. And I like to buy fabrics that have that symbol in them. And so it's very, very important that we start to recognize what we're wearing, when we're wearing it, and how we're wearing it. Okay, so I'm going to begin by telling you that, yes, African fabric first came from Indonesia. So Africans on the continent were weaving their fabric until fabric started coming from Indonesia. So may I see the first slide? And I'm not a professional. I just love fabric. So what I'm sharing with you is my love of fabric. So this particular piece is well known in West Africa. It's the hands and finger design. Okay? And it means that if your palm is open, you're open to receive money. And when your hand is down like this, and you see the fingers, you are handing over money. And you'll see that lots of the people in the market, they're the ones that forge these designs into the cloth. They were the women in the market. And they decided what they wanted to see and how they wanted to see it. And this is important. And I also have another piece of it over here. I have that fabric, but I also have it in different colors. So the thing is that you're going to see this hand and you'll realize that it's actually about giving and receiving money and the importance of holding on to your money. Next slide, please. And stop me, please, if you have a question. The next slide is the speed bird. And how many people have an outfit with the speed bird? Is there anyone that has seen this particular pattern before? Anyone? So we call this the speed bird print site, sometimes called the Hirondelle, which is French. So we know that it came from some of the French speaking African countries that they designed it. And as money has wings, and if you're not careful, it will fly away. So what are they saying? The women in the market were talking about money, about earning money, about keeping money, and their designs often spoke about that. And so that's what we see with African prints, is that there's always a message in the print. And when someone wears it, if you look at it and they know what they're wearing, they will express that. Next slide, please. Okay, so if you can just read it, it's the household gravel. A house is an analogy for an immediate family, and it's sometimes sharp and can cut you deeply. That means there's always going to be some kind of friction in the house, and it's called the family gravel. And I have this fabric. And so we see that it's worn at certain times, and it's pulled out. And this is a very popular one. It's about the record, and it's a very old fabric because we used to, does someone want to say something? It's a very old fabric because we used to, does someone want to say something? I'm having some feedback.
Yeah, we'll mute that person, and if anyone wants to speak, please just raise your digital hand.
Yeah.
And we'll call on you.
Hello? Okay, so this particular fabric speaks to a period of time where records were very important. And so you'll see this fabric in many different colors and shapes, but it's just a popular fabric. It's just very popular. And as you can see, it means waterfall in the Twi language of Ghana. Okay, next slide, please. So there are all these symbols, and we just think that we're buying this fabric that has circles, but it really has something else. So this next fabric is a very popular one. And does anyone know what high life music is? Can anyone contribute about the music that came out of Nigeria and Ghana?
Yeah, we ask someone to raise their hand.
Yeah.
So that you can answer Veronica's questions. And if any of this relate to you at all, please share your comments with us or ask your questions, because I find this very curious. I've never known that there were messages like this within the fabric. So this is very interesting to me to learn what those messages were.
So we see that high life is a popular music genre that came out of Africa, and it's still alive today. And so thus the fabric stays alive. It's still alive. Okay. And so this next fabric.
Before you move forward,
yes.
I'm gonna ask Abimbola to come off mute and share what came up for her.
It's just really ironic
Yes.
that you're discussing this here subject matter. And the first 3 designs that you gave, someone gifted me. I don't know if I could show you.
We can go back to that slide.
So no. Someone gifted me with a very popular fabric from Ghana, and it has the circles, it has the highlight. I mean, I'm just looking at it now, and it's just really amazing. The piece on the left.
Which one? Oh,
Wait a minute. How can I?
yes, we have you on screen. Go ahead, hold it up. Okay. Okay, so you have the hands.
The hand, I have the, oh Lord, I don't know how to, look at this here. Wait.
Let's hold it in front of you. Sit down and put it in front of you, Abimbola.
Oh.
Take yourself off the camera and put the fabric on the camera. Yes. So what do you think that fabric is saying to you? After having seen the circles, which is an old fabric, you see the hand, which is the shillings. Those are shillings. At that time, this is based on the English system. So they spoke about having shillings in your hand. If anybody remembers. Okay.
Yeah, just amazing. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Abimbola. Thank you.
Okay.
We can go back to the slide. Does anybody else have anything? Okay. So, Brother John, we can go back to the slide because I want us to really start to discuss the, okay, so the one is, it's a funky, and when they say retro, it's something that came out of the 70s, but it's been kept alive because it's relevant. And so here I have a piece of that fabric with the shoes. Okay. And you'll see it in many, many, many different colors and varieties. And sometimes they just put it in a little circle, but they're constantly demanding that these items return. And all of them have meanings. I've gone to my fabric person and she's explained to me, there's even one with the wife who turns her back to the husband at night. And we see this fabric, and all we see is this design, but the message inside the design. Imagine your wife getting up in the morning and putting on that item, and then he looks at the fabric and he realized, oh, this is what she's mad at me. She's mad at me today because there's a hidden message. Yes, John.
Could we see your fabric again? We're sharing the slide, and I wanted to spotlight you so we can see the fabric you were speaking about.
This is a retro one. And I just love it. I haven't used it as yet, but as I said, I'm a collector. Okay. And then I'll show you the money. This is another variety of the hand. So you're going to always see it in different ways. So here is the open palm with the fingers all around. And the open palm is receiving money. So these are people that work in the market and they want to earn, they want money. And there's another quilt that I have that the Hawaiian people have, where they have breadfruit. And what do they want? They want to always be able to eat. So there is also a fabric that the African print fabric that has the breadfruit leaf. That's important to people throughout the diaspora because we survive by eating breadfruit. So these symbols are all around and they're important. Yes, we can continue. We can go back to the slide unless we have a question. Okay, so we can go to the next slide. And then I'd love for you to show me some of the fabrics that you all have at home that are meaningful to you. Yes, the next one.
We do have a hand raised. And
Yes,
this
please.
from our fellow admin, Shawnee.
Yes.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Y'all need to invite some more people to this session. This is so informative, so powerful. So I was saying in the chat that I use fabric all over the place. I have fabric hanging on my wall. There's fabric covering my sacred spaces in my house. I have 2 altars up right now, hanging from the ceiling. I have it wrapped around my waist for this session. I didn't do that on purpose, but I'm like, oh, I got on fabric as we do this session. And so I think it's so important to know this stuff, Veronica, because I use so much fabric for healing sessions, to activate my vision for my life, for adornment, decorations, for events that I do, rite of passage work. So to not know what certain prints mean, like right now, something you said earlier, I have some fabric draped over a piece of furniture in my living room. And you said it means family discord. Or
Yes.
I was like, wait a minute, let me get this fabric the hell up out of here.
Yes. Yes.
The gravel, what'd you call it? The gravel?
It's the gravel print. You can turn back to it, John, because we have time. Yeah. And you can
I think it was the one before this
just
one.
before this one.
Yeah, so just thinking about
it's right there.
Yeah, I'm big on energy, intention, vibration. So to think that I've had this particular fabric in my living room for a minute now, at least 3 or 4 years. And I think about some of the challenges that I've been having with my son, you know, and just not knowing, and then having this energy and vibration, maybe amplifying some of the things that have been going on. So I'm just conscious of that, and I will tune into this as I consider what I'm going to do next in my space. And I'm complete.
Because you'll notice that I have a lot of I have but God everywhere. And I wear but God. I wear it all the time. I love it.
Yeah. The Jinyame is very powerful. I was with my cousin, Ia Robin, yesterday. We were hanging out, and she got a gift from you in the mail while I was there. I just thought about it. I'm like, wait a minute. The table runner that you sent her, she got it yesterday while I was there, and she opened it up. So beautiful. It's green, but you had a Dinkra symbol on it, and I can't remember what it was.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Yeah, I'm going to look now, and I'll drop it in the chat. But I just want to thank you for this teaching. This is super important for where I'm at in my life. I appreciate you.
You're welcome. I'm so grateful that you're receiving it. Yes. So we can continue, as I have quite a few slides. The next slide. Okay, so this particular pattern, if you read the beginning of it, it says the pattern is said to have been produced based on a sketch provided by sellers. Those are the sellers in the market, and is known as the Darling, Don't Turn Your Back on Me. This is the one I'm telling you about. And it's said to represent an angry woman lying in bed with her back to her husband. And her husband is asking for forgiveness and begging her to turn around. And that's that swivel fabric over there. And we see this fabric all the time. And the sellers know the meaning of the fabric, some of the sellers, because as I've traveled, some of them know it, some of them don't. But these are old fabrics that I've pulled out for you to see. Okay, now this next fabric is woven fabric in the middle. And I have a piece of woven fabric here. This is from my own stash. And this piece was maybe one of 20 pieces I bought in Senegal in 1995. And it's all hand woven. It is so beautiful and soft to the touch. And as you can see, It signifies cloth of high status among the Yoruba of Nigeria, and it's worn mainly at formal occasions. So this was a big piece, and what I did is the way they stitched it, the way they wove it in strips, and then they stitched it together. And I took it apart because I like to wear it on my head, or I like to wrap it around my waist. So I have quite a few pieces of this left because I'm a giver, so I do give away this, but this is some that I've saved, and it's really wonderful hand woven fabric. And this is what you would have seen before the colonizers came. This is what you would have seen. Most of the clothing that was worn was hand woven clothing. Okay. And I love it. And then everyone knows kente cloth. And kente is also traditionally woven like this. And it's worn, it's a high cloth in that it's worn by very wealthy people. But today we can get kente in cotton fabric because it's been imitated. But kente, real kente is woven kente. Does anyone have a question or comment? And does anyone here listening own kente, woven kente? It's something to buy if you go to Africa.
Yes, I have so much I could sell some.
Tell us about it, please.
Well, I went to Bonwiri. Yeah, I've been to Ghana 11 times. So every time I go, I get kente. I have strips, I have pieces, and it's just wonderful, wonderful. And now what I did is I had so much kente, I used my kente and made a frame, wall frame, and put pictures in the middle of it. And all my kente strips are on the wood around it. I love kente.
Yes, and it comes in all different colors and shapes. But the energy of the weaver is in the kente. It's not machine manufactured. It's hand woven. And it's wonderful to see the weaver weaving this kente. It's a magnificent thing to see. We can go to the next slide. Okay, so everybody knows Angelina. That's what it's called, Angelina. And Angelina is the dashiki print that's worn by men. Lots of men wear Angelina. And it's just recently that we've been seeing women's skirts and clothing being made out of Angelina. So that's very popular, and it's often reproduced. And now the Chinese are making it. So you can feel the texture of the fabric and know that it's not Dutch. It's not 100% cotton. Okay. Now this next print in the middle is what you're going to find that's authentically African. Because I've told you about Ankara, and we've looked at all these African prints prior to this, but understand that African prints were not produced in Africa. The cotton was taken, it was processed, and the fabric was made and printed, has been and continues to be made and printed in Holland. So what we call African print is only African print because we put our stamp on it. But it's made in Holland. And now it's being made in China. And there are still some factories in Africa, but the majority of the African print that we've worn throughout our lifetime has come from Holland. And that's where I'm leading this discussion to. So now this print in the middle is what I have here. And this is authentic African print. Because what the person does is he stamps the fabric with wax. It's wax. and it's stamped, and then it's dyed, and then it's dried and put in hot water, and what is left is the print that they gave us. So when you see fabrics like this, know that this is authentic. This is not coming out of Holland. This I got from someone in one of the villages in Ghana, and it's stamped. He takes his stamp and he presses his stamp, presses it, presses it, presses it, presses it, presses it, and this is how the design comes out. This is authentic. Can we move forward? Okay, so, and I'm gonna share this one as well. This is also a print. This is also still made in Africa. This one is just a tie-dye, okay? And it's also a wax, but you can see the difference. There's no solid design. It's just random. And I love to work with this fabric. Okay, this is actually a table runner in the process.
That, Veronica, that's a very beautiful print right there. I love it.
Yes.
And the one right before that you're sharing with the stamps.
Yes.
You're saying it's stamped.
Yes.
I know the one you just shared was tie-dye. This one is stamped.
Yes.
Is there a particular name for the style that is used? Like tie-dye is a particular name?
Adinkra.
Adinkra. It's an Adinkra print. So this is an Adinkra. Thank you, sister. These are Adinkra prints. And you see that these are Adinkra symbols that are in the print. And I had the Jiname, but it's all I cut them up. I made a whole lot of stuff with the Jiname. Yeah. And the other thing is, when you go to Africa and you buy a yard of this, the maker doesn't measure it as a yard. He measures it as 30 inches. So I was complaining, oh, I didn't get the amount that he said he was selling me. No, because his measurement is different from my measurement. You see? So it's you can see I'm overwhelmed with fabric. Are there any questions?
Yeah, I have a question, Veronica.
Yes.
I'm gonna spotlight myself so
Yes.
that I can
Thank
show
you.
you this fabric I have. Share at spotlight. Okay, I had a friend came back from the Congo recently and brought me an outfit in this fabric.
Oh, wow. I gotta look that up because the Congo has some really nice fabric.
Yeah, this came from the Congo.
Okay, so there's a meaning.
I was wondering if there was a message in this fabric.
There is, and I will look it up for you. Because I have a Congolese fabric that I just sold, and when I looked up the fabric, it was about the war in the Congo. And there were leaves all around, and then there was a hut, and there was a chicken on the side. And they say that came out, that particular fabric was designed when the conflict happened, because they were trying to save their village. And it's called the village something. So there's not always, but oftentimes you're going to find some message in the print. Oh, I like that bag. Where'd you get that from?
It was gifted to me by you.
Oh.
Yes, you gifted it to me.
I'm glad you still have it. Yes. Yeah. Yes. That's
what's the message in this bag?
That is a very popular print. And when I was doing that bag, I don't even have those anymore because people love them. They were so, the color was versatile. And I would have to keep looking at your fabric and look for the symbols. There are symbols inside of everything. And as Sister Abimbola just said, look at maybe there's an Adinkra symbol somewhere. You know, I'm gonna have to look at it. I have pieces of the fabric upstairs and I'm gonna take a look and see.
Okay, awesome. Yes, I love to know what my fabrics, what my fabrics mean, what they're saying, and wear them with intention.
Mm-hmm.
I have a goal to start making my clothing again. When I was a teenager, I made clothing for myself and my community.
Wow.
And I still have that passion in me. And one of the things that I said recently after becoming a yogi, I said, you know what, I'm going to create a style of clothing yogi, yoga style clothing, but mixed with African print.
That would
And
be wonderful.
yes, with that now, it's
Yeah.
even more intentional, knowing that I can do it with intention.
Exactly. You
Fabrics
you can go and shop for your fabric with intention.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So thank you so much for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And we'll move
We
forward.
we have another question.
Oh,
from-
yes, go ahead. Yes.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm
Good
trying to start.
morning.
This is so wonderful. You got me all excited about fabric this morning. So I went and found some things, and I was
Okay.
like, "Can she read these fabrics for me?" Let me see.
I don't know if
think
I
I'm in the
can't read
dark.
them because I'm not a professional, but you can.
That's okay. You may
can
have
go
seen them
online.
before. So this is one of my favorite fabrics.
Oh, I love that.
Okay, I just love it.
That's
when
South African or
yeah. When I went there, it's like a in the belly.
yeah, and the
people,
belly. Yes.
And those shapes and colors
Yes.
have always just fascinated me.
Mhm.
So it's like, oh, I wonder what she knows about it, because I don't know
I know that it's South African because I've been to South Africa. And the Ndebele ladies, I have a book on my shelf about them, and they just like color and texture, and it's so beautiful the way they do what they do. And I don't know if there's a meaning, but you know what? That's what Google has done for me. It has allowed me to investigate and search out, the different things. And I want to tell you, Gina, this blouse, which it has a skirt to go with it.
Mhm.
I bought this fabric in Senegal, in Dakar. And I bought this fabric in 1997.
Uh-huh.
And I had this outfit made, and it's really nice. And I'm still wearing it.
There you go. The fabrics are so strong.
They're strong. And I bought it in the market in Dakar. And in Dakar, when you go to buy these fabrics, you could feel the wax still on them. And they're folded into 3 pieces. There's for the booba. And so there were 3 pieces, the booba, the skirt, and the head wrap. And this is what I came back and had made for myself from Senegal, because I love Senegal. I love Dakar. And I especially love, and this is what I'm encouraging people, that when you go to places, always visit the market.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been to the market in Dakar?
I've been to a few of them, yeah.
Isn't it wonderful?
It's an experience.
Yes.
It's serious, but you got to have it. It's an experience you need to have.
Yes.
I agree with you.
And in South Africa, there's not a lot of fabric. There's not a lot of fabric to find. Most of the fabric in South Africa comes from Zimbabwe.
I bought this in the mall, this fabric. Like you go, you know how you go to the Gap and they have those racks of clothes and stuff. In the mall in South Africa, we went to a particular store, and it was just fabric on the shelves.
Right.
You just go in there and buy your fabrics. Yeah. But not like I did not see it like out in Joburg in like in a market, an open market or anything. It was in the Nelson Mandela Mall.
I looked in Johannesburg, and I looked in Cape Town. Nope, because that's what I look for, is fabric. And they have different types of things, but not the type of quality that you would see in West Africa and East Africa. No. Yes, thank you so much for your contribution.
Sure. And I just have one thing that I just realized watching you, I'm just learning so much now. And the fabrics like these with these patterns and things.
Yes.
When you go, like in Senegal, I noticed most of the things that people wear are more like what you're wearing today. It'll either be like a batik, a tie-dye, or the stamps. And so I find it interesting that the different cultures do different things with the fabric. Of course, you'll find everything, you'll find every fabric there, but the majority of the time you see a person wearing something, it is usually maybe like a wax print with a stamp on, but it's not necessarily going to be printed.
That's right.
And so knowing that, okay, so that's, I remember my mind being blown, not learning that stuff wasn't from Africa. Like, I was like, how can African fabric be coming from Holland and China?
That's
And
right.
so, and it makes me wonder, maybe that's why
But
certain countries tend to wear more the batiks, more the tie-dye,
well,
because
the
they make it there.
the tie-dye for French countries, the French countries,
Okay. Okay.
like, so we're looking at Senegal, and they love batik and tie-dye, and most of it is produced in Senegal and Mali.
Mm,
Okay,
mhm.
so you're gonna go into the market in those areas, and you're gonna find these. And then you go to West Africa, and you're gonna find markets where there are shelves and shelves and shelves of printed fabric. That's coming from Holland, that's also coming from their country, and coming from China. China's almost taking over the market.
Almost
Right?
taking over Africa.
It's almost taking over the market. But the point that I'm making, that I want us to understand is that even though these fabrics, they first came from Indonesia, and then they came to us. And they came to us as white fabric or solid fabric. And what we as African women of the diaspora demanded was color and texture. And so their market could not have thrived unless we demanded that they give us the symbols and the messages. And where did those symbols and messages come? They came from the women in the market. The women in the market women were the most powerful women. They, even in Senegal, like when I spent time in Senegal, I spent time in the village of Pekin the first time I went. And Pekin?
My husband's grandmother is from
Okay,
that
so
area.
Pekin is just a little town, but the women in the market are the ones that take care of their husbands and take care of their children and pay the school fees, because they control the economy. They did control the economy in the beginning. All right. And so because they control the economy, they demanded that the fabric look a certain way. And this is historic. This is our history, is that, yes, the colonizers came and they demanded. I'm going to have a section where I'm going to talk about head ties if we have time. And the colonizers came and they wanted us to be clothed in a certain way. And yes, we were clothed in a certain way, but we also demanded that we have the colors and the textures and our symbols. And so that's why we cannot reject Ankara fabric. We cannot reject it. We cannot reject anything that comes from the continent, even if it came through Holland, because that's my personal opinion.
Okay, you just shifted my perspective there. Thank you for that, because that's exactly where I was going. Like, okay, well then I'm not going to wear these anymore. That doesn't represent us. But
it's all us.
It's us. It's still us.
It's all us. It doesn't matter where. We didn't have the technology to produce the fabric. We had the technology to weave the fabric, to make certain items. And when the Dutch came and colonized us, they had the machinery to create, it's like the story of the in America, the Boston Tea Party.
Mm-hmm.
So what the British were doing is they were taking the tea and taking it to England and packaging it and bringing it back to the colonies and making them buy it. And the colonists said, no, we don't want your tea, we're gonna throw it away, right? Well, we African women of the diaspora said, well, if you're gonna make us buy your tea, you're gonna give it to us in the color, the shape, the size, and whatever we want on it, and then we'll buy it. Because we still can't make it, but we're gonna take it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what Ankara fabric is about. It's about us getting what we want.
Okay.
And that's why I love the market women, because they're so powerful. Yeah. Is there anyone that has their hand?
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Gina. I love talking to you.
Same here.
Yes. We can move forward if there's no hands, or John.
We do have a hand raised, Teresa.
Yes.
Could you please come off mute and share?
Yes. Hi, good morning, beautiful. This is so inspiring. How does it make you feel telling this story? That's what I would like to know.
I love fabric. I have every type of fabric. I have fabric. People bring me fabric from all over the world. And I just love it. I just love it.
I know when I've called you, you've been in your fabric room, and it's
Yeah.
just so beautiful. The way, I've seen the stuff, we're talking to you on FaceTime, and it makes me feel good to even know it's not. I never even knew that fabric had this kind of meaning, and so it it lets me see that I need to get to Africa, and I need to get some fabric because I haven't never even, one time I used to say I didn't want to go because I was afraid, but I have a friend who's an expert there, and she's been traveling different countries, and she's going to be living there for 5 years. That's her desire, and she's loving it. And so it just gives me a desire to go. So thank you so much for sharing this. I appreciate
You're
you.
welcome. Thank
Appreciate
you.
everyone who showed their fabric.
Thank you so much. Does anyone have fabric to show us before I
do.
proceed? Go ahead.
This is a strip of fabric. It may be hard to see because of the color, but it has the Adinkra symbols and it was stamped. When I went to Ghana in 2019 for the year of the return, they showed us how to make these. So it's like a scarf. And I also want to showcase my friend who is also, I call her a master quilter.
No, she's
I
not.
have my first and only quilt that she helped and taught me how to make with the symbol that you mentioned earlier in your presentation.
Thank
and this
you.
red, I entered it in the Henry County Fair and it came in second place. I just wanted to
Congratulations. This is
congratulate you, teacher, master teacher.
Thank you, friend.
The room is not a room, it's a store. It has every color, every kind of fabric you can imagine. So if you need fabric, go to her house, go shopping.
Thank you,
mentioned another symbol.
Oh, that's
I'm not sure where I bought this, but you mentioned this symbol here.
Yes.
And I have this. I don't collect the fabric. I collect a lot of African outfits, so I have a lot of African attire.
Very nice.
And this is very interesting. I had no clue about the meanings of fabric other than the Adinkra symbols. I knew that, but I didn't know all of the other meanings. So this is very informative, Veronica.
And you know what? This piece speaks to you, Janice, because you hold on to your money. Your money is not flying away. It's not.
No, it's not. I dole it out very cautiously.
Yep. Thank you for participating. Thank you. Yes. Is there anyone else? Okay, we can move to the next slide. If I don't see any hands.
We can move to the next slide while the community gathered their fabrics.
Yes, please.
Because I'm sure everyone here most likely have a piece of African fabric to share with us.
We do, yes.
Yes, so I'll move forward and go to the next slide.
Yes.
Here we are.
Okay, so here we're looking at the symbols. Now, the reason that I put this particular slide with the stools in is because those of us that have seen The Woman King, the movie, each piece of dress that she had on had a symbol. And when the last piece where she was going up to sit next to the king, her outfit had the stool in the middle of her chest. And the stool is a symbol of royalty and of becoming a king. The symbol is a key feature of this fabric, and its name simply implies that if you want to talk about me, take a stool and sit down. African proverbs are laden with humorous sayings, but nonetheless have deeper meaning. If you want to talk about someone, don't just stand around talking. It's better for you to sit down and take your time and say what you have to say. And she had that stool on, and he asked her to come and sit down next to him. And I thought that was so significant. And then they were looking at the sugar cane. And it was told that it would also be called Mimsunobu. This is a Ga phrase, which means I love you like sugar cane. So wouldn't you want to wear this symbol, this sugar cane? Okay, and the Ga are the people of Ghana, the certain area of Ghana, and in Ghana, in the market, there are mostly Ga fabric sellers. And so if you go to Ghana, ask them what that means and see if you get the same meaning. Okay, so we can move on. And I want to spend some time on the next slide, John, because it's going to evoke thought.
You can spend time on the next slide.
Yeah, unless there's a question about this one.
Yeah, I think this is, I love knowing and understanding what these prints mean.
Yes.
Because it's so powerful, even as you explain it in the Woman King, to understand that from a deeper level, you know, knowing that they've researched that far to show the symbols and then show the actions following the symbols, and for you to connect with that, like, wow, that's a beautiful experience to imagine.
And to have it on and know what it means is so powerful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Does anyone have fabric to show?
If you have fabric to show, please raise your hand.
I have to get it. I have fabric.
Yes.
This is
Go ahead.
Robin.
I gotta get it though, because I wasn't trying to get up, but I do have fabric.
Okay, this is also kente fabric, which we've already spoken about, so we can move forward because I want to spend a little bit of time on Madras fabric, which is so very important. And that's the next slide.
I have a question about this slide.
Yes.
I see that they're like
they're all Adinka
several
symbols.
symbols within this this fabric here.
Yep.
You know, some are familiar and some are not so familiar.
That's right. And I have a book, and I don't have it right here at hand, and it has the meaning of each symbol.
Okay. I had looked it up on Google at one point.
Yes.
African symbols, and you know, this is why some of them look familiar to me.
Yes.
But I don't remember what the meanings are at the moment.
Yeah, I don't have one.
Robin is ready to share with us, Veronica.
Yes, please.
Robin,
Good morning.
Sorry, good morning. I'm coming.
Okay.
Let me, I don't know how to, sorry. I gotta turn my camera around, but I don't know how to do that. Like this.
You hit the camera frame. Okay.
Okay.
So I got this beautiful thing that some beautiful person sent me. I got in the mail yesterday.
Okay.
So this is a runner from Veronica.
Okay. I'm glad you got it.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Just trying to open the bag. I'm sorry. This is from Nigeria, this fabric. There's
I
one.
love that. You know, I saw that pattern in one of the meanings. I didn't save it.
So beautiful. And I have this batik. I think it's called batik.
Yes, yes, yes. That's pretty.
This one, it's a different pattern. Can you see?
So are you keeping your fabric in that plastic bag for a reason?
I need to get some outfits made and I haven't done it yet. But these are they were very, very inexpensive. Well, not inexpensive, but they were in my price range. So I was like, let me get the fabric now. It's another batik.
Beautiful.
And
is that one that you just put out? Is that the very deep blue?
Yes, it's a very deep blue.
There's a meaning in that blue. It's worn at certain occasions, and I cannot remember. But I'm gonna look it up.
I'm just gonna jump in here, and I could be wrong, but we had a session that who led it? Cecile and another sister from the community about indigo.
Yes.
The color indigo and the meaning. I know royalty would wear it, and there's some other, like it was a really I'm gonna say expensive, but like the meaning of it, the quality of it, the spiritual meaning, the
Yes,
meaning for community is very, very powerful.
it
But we
is.
had a session, it was months ago. I don't know if it was this year. I think it was the top of this year where the indigo and its meaning was presented. And I can't
Yes,
remember who the
Niamo.
two partners were. Who was it?
Niamo.
Right.
Niamo.
Right, and it's
Niamo.
Oshun traditional fabric as well.
Right, and it's hand dyed in that indigo.
Yeah, and I watched
Yeah.
them do it too.
Yes,
Beautiful.
yes, and it's very, yeah, you're right, Shawnee. It's very important piece of fabric.
Yeah, it represents royalty as well. This is another,
Beautiful.
and then I have one last one to show you.
Okay,
And I
and
have,
take it out of the plastic.
yeah, I did.
Put it
Don't
in
let
a,
it sit in the plastic.
no, put it in a pillowcase. Put them in,
Okay.
you're not gonna use them right now, or throw them around your house, and
Okay.
don't leave it in plastic.
Okay, thank you for that.
Yeah,
Thank you. Okay, well, that's all I have to show. Thank you.
beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
Beautiful pictures. Beautiful, beautiful,
Got me
beautiful.
up to date. Thank you.
Yes. Oh, is there anyone else? Okay, so we're coming up on 8 o'clock.
Yeah,
And
and your contact is in the chat.
my contact is in the chat. And we're going to be moving forward because I want to talk about another type of fabric that's really important to us if we're from the Caribbean. But it was also sent to Africa as well.
Okay.
So the next slide.
Also let the community know
Yes.
that if you have to go and you are as caught up in the messages in these fabrics as I am, you can come back to Facebook where we share our recordings and continue and watch the continuation of this session. And Veronica, you've been invited to go to the chat and Facebook and respond to any of the comments.
Absolutely. Yes, I will.
Awesome.
Thank you, John.
You're welcome. Let's move forward.
Okay. So, does anyone recognize this fabric?
Yes, I've seen it when we used to have Caribbean Day at the church I used to go. And some ladies had this outfit on for Caribbean Day.
Okay.
Yes.
So
they had everything on that day.
Okay. So this particular fabric, just like Ankara fabric, was brought to the Caribbean so that women, the slaves and the women would cover their heads. It was mostly about covering your head and covering your body. And that's what the colonizers wanted. But when they brought the Madras fabric, comes from India, from an area called Madras. And when they brought the fabrics to the Caribbean for the slaves and the women of color to put on, they demanded color. Can you imagine that they demanded color, just like the women of Africa? They said, you know what? You want us to, they demanded, they were called the Tignon laws. There was a law that was passed in the South, the South, and also throughout the Caribbean, that women of color had to cover their heads and act in a certain way because they would entice the white men. The beauty of their hair, especially as the women started getting lighter and they had more hair on their heads, they demanded that the women cover their heads. And so these are different head coverings that spoke to whether they were married, unmarried, looking for a husband. And so the women devised ways to do what they had to do because they had to keep their head covered. We didn't just cover our heads in Africa. We didn't just cover our heads in the Caribbean. We didn't just cover our heads in Louisiana. It was demanded that we cover our heads. And this was a fabric that was brought from India. And this is how it has evolved. The evolution of the madras fabric. So this is a piece that I started working on about 2 years ago. It's not finished. And you'll see that there are different shades. Okay. Now I've noticed there's a lady that comes on our wool and she has it on her head oftentimes. I think she's in North Carolina. But so what happens is all of these different shades of fabric represent different islands in the Caribbean. And so this particular one and this one, I got these in Barbados because I collect dolls. I collect these, and there's a story. Does anybody know the story of the two-headed doll? Does anyone know the story of the two-headed doll? Can someone come up and tell me?
Teresa has a hand raised.
And I think John should know because he's from Barbados. But go ahead, Teresa.
No, I was calling to make a joke. I was saying to her, do you have a piece of material that says you're looking for a husband? Could you send me a piece so I can wear it on my head?
It's the head tie. It's the head tie.
Oh, okay.
Because it was the law. They would be fined or put in prison if the women came out with, if Black women in the Caribbean came out without their heads covered and their hair covered and tied. It was not allowed. All right.
Well, that's why I was saying if you got one for the unmarried, the one who's looking for a husband, I'll take a piece of that one.
Okay. It's not the fabric, it's the head tie.
It's the head tie. I said the head tie. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
This is Shawnee. I'll jump
Yes,
in on
Shawnee.
this, and
Yes.
Robin may be able to support this. So when we were leading rites of passage for girls between the ages of 12 to 14, for the decade that we did that work, the girls were told about how to wear their galays. It's called a galay, a head tie.
Right.
And there's a way to wear it when you are without a partner. And there's a way to wear it when you're a married woman. I just can't remember. I think you leave a little bit of your hair out, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I can't remember because we haven't done it in so long, but we definitely taught the young sisters about that, and they would wear their galays accordingly.
Right. And so this was not that they were just wearing them. It was demanded of them that they wear them. And so if you go to the Caribbean, when there's a holiday or there's something, you're going to see women dressed like this. You might go to the Statue of Liberty, Ellis Island, and there are pictures of women coming from Montserrat and other French-speaking islands dressed with elaborate headpieces and this type of fabric, the madras. This is madras fabric. Today is called plaid. Today is called plaid. But when it came out of madras, it was white with just maybe a yellow stripe, maybe a red stripe. And women of the diaspora demanded color in our, if you wanted us to wear it, you had to give us some color and some texture. And that's what I'm talking about, is that we might not be the producers, but I'm going to keep repeating this, we're not the producers all the time of the fabric, but we all are the ones that create the style. And we continue to create the style because it's in our DNA. It's in our DNA, and we create it. Yes.
I want to share with you.
Yes.
I grew up in Barbados, and
Yes.
these dolls were always all around in the stores and the markets. And to me, they always represent the elder women. And some of the women in the market were also dressed like that.
That's right.
Yeah, dressed just like the dolls. So I thought that's what they represented, but I never knew the story behind it. So I thank you for
There's a
sharing.
deeper story. The story is that they had to have, actually in Barbados especially, one side had to be white. One side had to be white, and the other side could be black, because you were not supposed to walk the streets with a black doll.
Mm.
You know? So what did the women do? They said, oh, we're going to create this so that we could honor ourselves. Now the women, and you go to Barbados and you'll see they're both of color. But that's not how it always was. This is not how, because we know that Barbados had such strict laws. Barbados had the strictest rules about colorism, about how you wore your hair, about how you walked the street. And these things, maybe they, as years went by, got better and better and better, but you still see it. You still see hints of it. And if you visit a plantation, I visited a plantation in Barbados, and I actually saw one of those dolls with the white doll.
Yeah. When growing up, I experienced not so much colorism, but the classism in Barbados, where it was about class, you know, what you had, where you're from, kind of job you had, that type of stuff.
Right. But we decided that we were going to tie our heads to show. We had secret messages in our, if you go back to the slide, we had a secret message in how we tied our heads. We had a secret message. We had the secret message in the fabric. Look at the different head ties. All right. These days, there are very few women who head wraps to communicate their relationship status, but that's how it was. And so women would have to keep their heads tied, but they would show their relationship status. And we created the fabric of our lives. Are there any more questions or comments?
You know what? In church, they had it was like a thing that you had to cover your head. So maybe this is where this culture is coming from, when people saying like a woman got to cover her head. I know, and they used to say that you have to cover your head to reverence man, but that's not really what the cover meant. It was like to honor your husband, but the church had took it and said, you know, you have to like reverence God by covering your head. So I remember when I studied it and I saw that, you know, like, you know, they were quoting the scripture wrong. You know, I didn't feel comfortable wearing my head covered anymore, because I just felt like it was part of them controlling more than, you know, them honoring God. So, you know, I just stopped that. But I know, you know, that was something that a lot of coaches made women cover their head a lot of times. So some of it, you know.
Yes, Teresa. Here's a quote, Teresa. In the early South, historian Virginia M. Gold notes that Miro, who created this law, hoped the laws would control women who had become too light-skinned, or who dressed too elegantly, or competed too freely with white women for status, and thus threatened the social order. So women of color were forced to cover their hair, because men did not want to see Black women competing with white women, because our hair is our beauty, but it was also, we were told that it was our curse. And so we use fabric. We use fabric throughout the diaspora.
No, that's true. Because even with cutting your hair, it was the same thing. People, like, it was offensive for you to cut your hair when we grew up, you know, because they were saying your hair was your glory, and people just, you know, they were talking about it. But I just think some of these things, like you said, was part of a control. So thank you for bringing up this part about this hair cover thing. Really appreciate you.
Thank you, Teresa.
Veronica, Adam, you had your hand raised. Are you still available? You want to come back with your question? We invite you to unmute.
Yes, good morning, Veronica. Good morning, Nation. I just want to touch on what Teresa was talking about, the colonization of women covering their bodies. I just want to say, do you think the colonizers wanted to create insecurity within Black women when it came to the true sexuality? I'm not talking about from a low vibration, but from a high vibrational standpoint.
Yes. Absolutely. And so we resist, and we women of the diaspora, we resisted it. We resisted it in our clothing. We resisted it. We resisted it by infusing color and texture into whatever they gave us, you know. And we see it more so today because we have not, we're wearing more Ankara than we ever have. And so when you hear the word Ankara, it's because they're not saying African print, they're saying Ankara. All right, it's the fabric of Africa. Okay, because Holland cannot grow cotton. Holland cannot grow cotton. It has to come out of the diaspora. It has to come out of the South and Asia. And so we resisted it. We resisted their control. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Adam. Yes, Laura.
You're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Greetings.
Greetings.
Thank you so much. I hopped on late, but I'm so happy I did. And I would like to share that as a child growing up,
yes,
we couldn't have gone to church without covering our head, hats on our head. But one thing I remember is my mom. Mm-hmm. She never go anywhere without tying her head.
Right.
Even when she's going to bed. And she would tell us that the energy, the power is in the head and you have to keep it covered. And then one day, I think we had a priest and a Yoruba priest on Wake Up Everybody. Yeah. And he explained about the OB and the importance of covering the head. Mm-hmm. And then I started to think, how did my mom knew that? But I think it came up from our African culture, because in Jamaica, most elderly women do cover and tie their
Caribbean
head.
All over the place.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Just want to share that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And do you have a piece of fabric to show us?
I don't have, normally in Jamaica, they tie their head with bandana.
No, do you have a piece of African Ankara fabric?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Certainly. Certainly. Hold 1 second because I didn't know I was to have that. But this is piece that I love.
Yeah.
The circular patterns going on. I don't know if you can see it.
Hold it in front of you. Oh, I love that.
I'm gonna.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we talked about that circular. That is a highlight pattern that came out of the 70s. The record.
Okay.
The record.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Is there anyone else?
Yes, I have a piece of fabric to show.
Yes.
A wonderful dear friend made this for me. It's a table runner and I just love the colors and it's very vibrant. So maybe, I don't know if you know what the symbols mean, but
I don't, you know, I don't know that one, but I just love the colors. And I know that was the color you like.
Yes, red.
Yes, yes. But it makes you always think about, you know, just check it out. Just say, you know, there are, you can go on Google and look up the meanings in African fabric. Mm-hmm. And quite a few of them will come up and you'll be able to read. You know, some of them are just random, some of them are scribbled, but some of them have meaning. So it's just good to take a look at it. Okay. And not to forget that this is not just plaid. Okay, this is not just plaid. And every island of the Caribbean has a shade, and their women dress in it and they wear it, you know. And the schools, John, the schools, the different schools in the Caribbean, they wear the ties or they wear the skirts out of this fabric, which came to us through slavery.
Yeah, this is that was uniforms. We have to wear uniforms, not like here where you can just wear your leisure clothing. Mm-hmm. Caribbean will wear uniforms, and it's mostly of that type of fabric.
Yeah, so it came out of that need
with
to
the
control
pattern.
us, but we controlled it. Yes. Thank you. Yes. Are there any more questions or comments?
Yes, I believe the family, you should have gathered your African prints and
Yeah.
ready to show us this morning. Come off mute, come on camera and share your prints with us. Yeah. The messages in the prints, though, so profound. And I wanted to ask you, do
Yes.
you know the in the head wraps,
Mhm.
you know the status of what they mean, like which one would mean
Yeah,
married?
I didn't print it. I didn't because it was taking up too much space, but there is on this particular one I got off the internet. It does show the different ones. Yeah. It shows what if you're married or if you're looking for somebody, it has it. So you can go back on Google and you'll find it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. What you've definitely done is stimulate a curiosity
Mhm.
in this fabric, you know, not just knowing my history, but knowing that when I wear this stuff, what it represents, and being able to have a conversation about it. You know, I think the
Right.
more conversations we have, the more the knowledge would be freely accessible, you
Yes.
know, within our cultures now. So
Mhm.
I don't know, Veronica, this is a
And
very powerful conversation. I
and you
see.
know, we also talk about, John, I'm not to interrupt you, but appropriation, you know, when our culture is appropriated. When you look at this plaid, it's not called plaid. And so first thing we think about is the Scottish, right?
Yeah.
And the Irish, but it really came out of India. So they appropriated the texture and the fabric and the design. As the white culture does everything. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah, because it was we helped create this.
Yeah. I'm going to invite Teresa, who has a hand raised, to come and share with us.
Yes.
I was just thinking that I'm just so appreciative how you showing us and teaching us different things about the fabric and where it came from, because a lot of times we're wearing certain things, but we really don't understand where it comes from. And the fact that you said, to me, I feel like we're like a like so many things have been stolen for cultures and named as other cultures, and here you are teaching us, you know, the truth about different fabrics. So it's amazing, and the connection, like think about the head wrap, how all of that stuff, just the different things that you've been talking about, just connects, you know, different worlds. And so how we're honoring, like especially like with that plaid, I definitely thought about Scottish, but then I remember at the Caribbean Day Festival that a couple ladies came, you know, with they had the head wrap and they had the skirt on. And they look like little girls, but that's what they, you know, what their culture was. But they didn't explain what
Right.
the material was. They just had it on. Like everybody had to wear the different and some of the signs that you saw from Africa, like quite a few, it was different Caribbean ladies that was at the church. So they had different designs, like some of the ones that you had on. So that was amazing. I never knew that it was so connected with African culture and Caribbean culture together. That was amazing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Yeah.
Veronica, you know what I see here?
Yes.
And it makes me so happy to observe this, is where, I mean, I knew our ancestors were always brilliant and intelligent communicators. And here's another level of understanding of how we communicated, and that they've left messages still present today for us to remember and understand, and to dig deeper. You know, because like I said, you've definitely influenced a curiosity here, where I want to know more about these fabrics and the cultures and the messages, you know, the messages that our ancestors have left for us within these fabrics of our lives. Very beautiful.
John, thank you. Yes. So if there are no more questions.
No, I have another this piece I bought in Zimbabwe, and I heard that you said that in South Africa,
Right.
they don't have a lot of fabric. They get it from Zimbabwe. So
Yes.
that made me think,
Yes.
oh, let me,
Yes.
this is the outfit I got in Zimbabwe. It kind of almost reminds me of like a tie-dye kind
It's a
of.
tie-dye. It's a
Oh, okay.
tie-dye and then it's embroidered.
Right, okay.
Yes, it's nice.
So
That's a tie-dye.
Yep.
Mhm.
looking through my closet. I don't have any fabric, just clothes.
See, that's
And
what
thank-
that's it. Some of us collect fabrics and some of us collect clothes and some
Yes.
of us,
Mhm.
art. Yes, yes.
Yes. Thank you so much for this presentation. It's
You're
wonderful.
welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so there was a lot in the chat
Mhm.
over the course of the session that was not shared.
Yes.
Some shares from Facebook. So I'm going to go back as far as we can because we have a little bit of time.
Yes.
So Teresa made a comment about sugarcane that
Yes.
came up earlier in the session.
Mhm.
And Jean, please read, because I don't want to mispronounce what you shared about Lupita's documentary on YouTube, The Warrior Women. I can't pronounce I don't know how to pronounce the name of the Warrior Women.
The Agogia.
Agogia, thank you.
Oh. Mhm.
Yeah, on Lupita's documentary. It's on YouTube.
Okay.
And she said she believes it's called Warrior Women. If someone can do a quick search. When we were talking about the indigo, the
Mhm.
session was co-created by Niamo, who used to lead a
Yes.
lot in this space. In fact, I miss her. I'm going to reach out to her, see if she can come back. And Cecile, who's from, oh my goodness, where's Brazil, I think.
Mhm.
And moving forward, K Sweetness on Facebook said that whatever was being shared at the time was fabulous and used the word affordable. I think speaking about Robin's fabric shares. And Abibola said she was headed to the pool. She better work. And thank you for the wonderful lesson. And she inspires me because I'm like, I got to learn how to swim. I choose to learn how to swim. So I'm going to get up in there because I think she learned in the latter part of her life how to swim. Teresa Plaskett on Facebook said that the doll that you shared was beautiful. I also agree. I love the outfit and the adornment and the cinched waist for the skirt. It was just so beautiful. It was such a creative, dynamic people. And I think about what Abin Bolas told me privately, because I was saying why wasn't there a lot of fabric offerings in South Africa? And she was like, apartheid impacted the flow and expression that the folks in that country had. It makes perfect sense that some of the culture was killed off by the white oppressors. And trying to bring stuff back after it's been years and years of suppressed dynamics is hard sometimes. Rosalind Ganaway Jones said they demanded the head to be covered to eliminate competition. And the name of the two-headed dolls, did you say the name?
No, they're just, let me see if one has, I have a tag on one of them.
Okay, all right. So while you look for that, I'll read what Gina said.
They call it Caribbean reversible doll. And this one
Caribbean reversible dolls. And I'm sure that there's an actual name in the culture. Yeah. So y'all do the research as Veronica was sharing, like YouTube, Google, just at our fingertips, we have all the information, and not all the information is correct. So look at several sites to get corroboration. So Gina says, so since we've been dragged to this country, white men have been legislating our hair. I never knew that head wraps were a mandate. And she put in capitals man on us, shaking my head. Google calls that a topsy-turvy doll. It makes me think of Topsy in Uncle Tom's Cabin. Once again, I'm like, are these names that white folk gave? I don't know. Like just thinking about the culture. I don't know, it could be the names that were given, but I question that. Kay Sweetness said, look at us growing and learning and discerning. And also she said mercy. Just people declaring how awesome this is. Talked about the high life, live it up. And Adam said insecurity is a bitch. Talk about white folks, white men.
Yes.
And also I'll say what has been projected on us. We've been indoctrinated with self-hate. So insecurity is in us too. So we don't express ourselves. When John Carl was sharing about him not seeing the manifestation of colorism, I'm like, that's in every culture on some level.
Yes.
Especially where Black and brown folks are. And it's just embedded in like who's considered more attractive. And what I was thinking too, and I'll quiet myself after this, is that there are standards of beauty for women that aren't projected onto men in the same way. And so in certain cultures, it's acceptable for maybe a man to be darker, but not the woman. Or in certain cultures, if the man is dark, there's a concern about a woman getting with him because the children may come out dark. Or if the man is lighter, it's like the hopes that they'll lighten the race. And I know in Latin culture that's spoken about explicitly, about keeping the culture clean of the darker hue, the darker skin. So I'll read a couple more. There's an old saying, and this is Jim on Facebook, that our hair is an antenna. I believe that too.
Yes.
And Laura says she's feeling high this morning off of the shares. Yeah, lots of stuff. Bandana was mentioned. Oh, I'm sorry, I think it's bandana in Jamaica for the head tie. And Adam said, Gina, those are some those same colonizers that legislate how women should show up in the world are the very same people that are over-sexualizing Black women from a low vibrational standpoint. And I'm like, ain't no high vibration for over-sexualizing. Yeah, so just comments from that. And then final Facebook share before I hand it back over to you, Veronica, is Jim said, I remember Bo Derek wearing the braids, exactly, running on the beach. And they were acting like it was new. And Teresa said, are there certain colors or symbols that aren't worn for certain events, like a wedding or a funeral? And I'm sure it's different for different cultures, but you can share what you know for a specific culture about the colors, Veronica. And then Jim said, I like the idea of clothes versus collecting and storing fabric, like making clothes as opposed to just collecting and storing the fabric. And we're complete.
Okay, so I'll answer the last question about certain colors. So this is Ghanaian funeral cloth. Okay. And so I made this, I showed this one other time before. So this was a quilt that I'm working on, which shows the COVID and all the deaths from COVID. And the borders of it is Ghanaian funeral cloth. And you get it in black and red or black and white. And that's what they wear to funerals. Those are the colors, right? And this is a head wrap that would be worn to a Ghanaian funeral. Okay, so yes, there are certain colors that you would wear. I know particularly of Ghana, but there are other places that you might wear. And there was something that I wore the other day to a funeral. And then when I came home, I looked it up and they said it's traditionally worn to a funeral. It was a piece of fabric that I used, and I don't have it right now. And yes, there are particular colors and designs that you wear only to a funeral. In answer to that question, yes. Thank you. I thank you for your time and your energy. My special offer, and can I give the special offer now? And if you're leaving, you can contact. Yes, John.
Yes, we are going to speak of the special offer now, and I'll pull up your contact info. But right before you initiated that, Teresa raised her hand, and I want to allow time for her to share.
Yeah, you was talking about the funeral. My friend, a friend of mine who when her grandmother died, like they wear certain, I think they wear black, and they have to wear it like for the whole month that the person, you know, like they wear the same thing. And what she does is that she said they burn the clothes after they wear the clothes, like they don't keep the clothes. But and so they have to stay at the village and everything. She had to stay, her grandma had to stay at the village, so they have to provide money to, you know, to take care of, because she had to stay where the mother was, it was her mother.
Yeah.
And so they had to wear the same clothing, you know, like they wear like the same, like the clothing that's called funeral clothing. Well, they might
Yes,
call it another name. But
everyone wears the same thing, yeah.
right. But she had to stay in the village, and then once she finished her days there, and then she gets rid of the clothing. They don't keep the clothing. So I was really surprised that. So she was saying, you know, like the cost, because what happens too is that when they do these funerals, the elders have to, you know, like confirm if it's okay
Yeah.
for you to have the funeral and where to have it. And if the elder doesn't like it, so like the elder actually controls like what you do with the funeral and how much money you have to spend. So she said it could be, she said that she would love to have buried in New York because she said it's so expensive to bury someone
It's very expensive.
in Africa because of all the details and stuff that you have to do. Even with the food, like they control the food, everything was just really amazing that I didn't even understand that much. So I was just really
They buy many yards of fabric and everybody
yes,
has to wear the same clothes. So
you
it's
know,
a lot
it's
of
true.
money involved in the
Yeah.
process. Yes.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, Veronica, now's the time for you to share with us your special offer.
Okay, so my special offer is a silent auction and it's to the highest bidder. I have a piece of art that I'm going to show and the proceeds will be given to Wu, the person who bids the highest. And it's a piece of art, it's thread art, so it's also fabric and texture involved in this. And this comes out of Ghana. And this is the piece that's being auctioned. Can everyone see it?
Yeah, you can see it. Perfect.
Okay. All right, so this is the auction piece and you can go onto my website and or text me and the highest bidder will receive the art. And I think we're going to start off at $50 and anything over that, the higher you go, the money will go to Wu. Okay, and it's thread art, so it's hand done. And you see the textures and the colors of Africa, and this is what we are. We are women of color. And I'll leave it up.
Yeah.
And it's all framed.
Yeah. Tony, was there a share you had in regards to this?
Shawnee?
Yes, sorry about that, family. So what we're asking of you, based on the visual of the art, is to engage in a silent auction. If you're interested in this piece of art, not only as something to have as part of your decor in your home or a piece to hold to connect with the culture, whatever the reason, you're also contributing to this community, which is part of the sacred work and is African-centered as well, like to purchase for yourself and then also give back to Wake Up Everybody, which has grown us all. So you utilize the email for the silent auction that Veronica has posted or given us, and it's been posted in the thread. And also the folks on Facebook can bid on the art. So use the email address that's on this slide or in the thread, Facebook and Zoom thread, and then email your bid for the art. Declare how much you're willing to pay so that you can bless Wake Up and then also bless your household. And maybe you'll give the gift to someone else. For those who celebrate Kwanzaa, Christmas, you can get a gift early and then share it with someone. And that way you can start off your early preparation for those sacred holidays or for someone's birthday or just because, right? So use the email address. It's Veronica KJ55@gmail.com. And then declare what your bid is. How much are you willing to put forth for this beautiful piece of artwork and for Veronica's offering? Just think about that in this community, in our conversation today. All of it is connected. And then submit the bid in email form, let her know who you are, and then whoever's declared the highest bid will get the piece of art sent to them, or she'll make arrangements for you to receive it. And I'm complete.
Oh, Love offerings and donations can be sent to Zelle, QuickPay, to Soul Leadership Development at gmail.com, Cash App, hashtag Spirit of a Woman, https cash.me Spirit of a Woman. My code today is hashtag 701 VKJ. And thank you for all your contributions and your attendance today. Love offerings and donations can be monthly automated love offerings, $25 a month, $50 a month, $75 a month, or $100 a month. We encourage you to participate in the automated love offerings and donations, and thank you. Tomorrow, join us on Monday, October 24th, 2022 for Carve Out Time for You, Altars, Use Creation, and Becoming Part 2. And the first part was wonderful. I got a lot out of it. Facilitated by Dion C. Monsanto. Join us on Tuesday, October 25th, 2022 for Perinatal Infant Loss, Grief, and its Impact on Society at Large. Facilitated by Sharon Turnage. And we'll see you tomorrow at WU. The WU Nation welcomes all new members and communities where we are come to learn, elevate, and ascend. Invite your friends and family because this is where it's at. Thank you for attending, and please continue to attend if this is your first time. Welcome, family. Wake Up Everybody schedule. Zoom live workshops Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday, 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. and Monday and Wednesday, 7 through 7:30 a.m. Zoom live workshops stream live on Facebook. And we welcome you to return and repeat. Thank you. Shop the swag, the WU swag store. Visit us online at bit.ly/WU swag for all types of WU paraphernalia, bottles, cups, bags. We welcome you. Check out our new swag today. And thanks for coming. Thank you. Stay in touch. Register at bit.ly/wakeupmovement, Facebook, bit.ly/WU community. Private, you have to join. bit.ly WU Nation is public. Instagram, Wake Up Everybody Virtual, YouTube, bit.ly WU YouTube, info wake up series.gmail.com. You can contact us at that website. And thank you for attending.
Veronica, I want to thank you.
Thank you, John.
Doing such a great job in your presentation today.
Thank you.
Reading out the closing slides. I love your voice, so comforting. It feels like home. It feels like family. It's a perfect voice to deliver the message you gave us today. It's such a beautiful message. So at this time, I'm going to invite our family, our members, our community to come off mute. Show your faces. Let me hear your voice. And shower Veronica with gratitude and love for this session.
Guys.
Thank you.
Thank
you,
Thank you so much,
Thank
Veronica.
you.
Wonderful
Well
question.
done. Thank
More
you.
than I knew I needed to
Amazing.
learn.
That's amazing.
Didn't realize I was wearing
Amazing.
Symbols and what it
without even
stands for.
realizing it.
Thank you so
It's
much.
important for us to
What it
know
looks like.
connect with
Education
our
is
roots
amazing.
instead of
dives into
letting
Thank you,
somebody
Miss
else
Veronica.
tell us
Thank
what
you,
to wear.
thank you.
I just want to say, have
Thank
a
you for
blessed
all
day
the
and
people
let's
that
move
showed
forward,
their
Thank
everybody.
you.
material. It was
Have
so
a
amazing.
fantastic
Great
day.
job.
Thank you.
Beautiful,
Thank you all
beautiful.
so much. It was so amazing. Such amazing day. Thank you. Love y'all. Thank you, Aventine. You're
I love you,
also
man.
welcome.
Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Love y'all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good to see you.
Yes.
Love y'all.
Great
Have a great
presentation.
day.
Let's
Love you.
reclaim ourselves.
Mwah.
Let's reconnect.
Thank you for honoring us with this gift of material. Thank you so much.
Thank you, John, for all your help.